Stu Rothenberg of the Rothenberg Political Report and Roll Call. Kyle Trigstad is our associate politics editor here at Roll Call, and David Hawkins is a senior editor.
Mitch McConnell is probably the best prepared incumbent coming into this cycle. He was ready to hammer whoever was coming his way.
They'll remember that this is a partisan race, that Barack Obama is not on the ballot, but the election is something about him, and so we still have the races leaning Republicans. It is the Democrats' best chance of picking up a Senate seat.
People who are perceived as having gone Washington, I would say that that attaches to Pat Roberts as much as to any candidate in the country right now. Senator Roberts has rented out his voting residence in Kansas and went hunting for a different voting residence, and it turns out it is essentially in the Barca lounger of some friends and campaign donors. He has basically rented their guest bedroom.
It's uphill for Democrats just because it's a midterm, it's Georgia, and Barack Obama's numbers, last time I looked, were not good.
So this is our question, which again, you can ask questions via the media player there and on Twitter. So the question is, let's talk specifically about these Democratic primary races in California.
But I think Ro Khanna and Mike Honda is probably the most interesting of them. This sort of, it's Asian majority district. I think it's the only one in the United States that's Asian majority. And you have two guys from different, one's of Indian descent and one's of Japanese descent running against each other. And so there's these sort of interesting cultural dynamics within the race.
Alex Sink did not run a bad race. She's an experienced politician, former office holder. She's run plenty of times. She's won that congressional district a couple of times. So I don't think it was about her. I think it's a national dynamic, and that's a problem for Democrats. That's why the special election is relevant.
Well, I think it's probably going to be one of the biggest issues in the presidential race coming up, especially if it's former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton running for president on the Democratic side. I think too many Americans, with some older Americans, she is still associated with the issue of health care. I actually ran into Cory Gardner in the basement of the Capitol this morning as I was coming to work through the snow, taking a shortcut through the Capitol basement. Another member came up to him and said, "Hey, Senator," and Cory Gardner, is obviously self-deprecating by requirement, but said, "I wouldn't be using that term about me anytime soon."
Right. Our system has become so polarized along the parties, and there's such anger, Republicans and Democrats. You would think maybe that would give independents an opening, but it really hasn't.
Right.
The independents who win tend to be people who come out from one of the parties who have such strong personal followings. She's written all these books on getting in touch with yourself. I've never been in touch with myself, but I know she writes these kinds of books.